My wife cheated on me for years, and I caught it all on camera, but I had to keep quiet and pretend nothing was wrong while plotting my revenge. I've just finished serving my wife of 5 years, Lauren, 44F, divorce papers as an anniversary gift after months of watching her cheat on me on camera. I'm sitting at work, absolutely fuming. I haven't seen much of my son, Nathan, 13M, this year. Didn't get him for the summer because of the damn pandemic, which is just one more bitter pill in all of this. Found out near the end of September that Lauren was cheating. Since then, most of my time's been spent playing detective, uncovering a mess of lies that seems to have no end. I had to act normal around her while knowing the truth. Every day was torture. All I want to do is throw her out, confront her, rage, but my lawyer keeps telling me to hold off for the right timing. I haven't slept in my own bed for nearly 2 months, planning to burn it once she's gone. No intimacy between us. Ironically, she's accused me of cheating because of that. Whenever she tries to hug or kiss me, I feel physically disgusted, but have to endure it. Looking at her, I just see filth. I want her out, but for now, I wait. It's like being locked in a stark room with only a table and someone you despise who won't stop tapping. You want to flip the table and lose it. I haven't been able to talk to anybody about it, at least not yet. I'm angry and disappointed in myself for letting this happen again. I just want it all to end. And I miss seeing Nathan. Update 1. There's a glimmer of good news. Yesterday I Skyped with Nathan, who's been at his mother's since summer. While on the call, my ex-girlfriend, Camille, 42F, popped in. She noticed I looked like hell and asked what was wrong. I admitted I've been in a dark place, missing my son, having nobody to talk to. Later, she called again, inviting me up for Thanksgiving. I was excited, 4 days away from Lauren, even if I'd have to battle her about not going to see her parents. I'm taking off at 3 a.m. for the long drive. I haven't seen my son in person since April, and I'm not missing this for anything. I arrived at Camille's house just before 10:30 p.m., called to see if she was up. She was still prepping food for Thanksgiving. I told her I was on her porch, and her husband, Jerome, 43M, let me in. He's looked rough, lost a lot of weight. We sat at the kitchen table, and they both told me I looked terrible, and not just because of the drive. They insisted I spill what was wrong. I told them everything. I ended up crying, frustrated tears. It felt good to finally talk to people who care and not have to shell out a fortune doing it. We chatted a bit more about their own struggles. They offered their couch, and I woke up this morning with their 5-year-old daughter Lily, suffocating me with a teddy bear. Nathan came in later and ran to give me a huge hug, calling me DA, my nickname. He dropped hugs last year, so it was a surprise. My spirits are lifted, even if temporarily. I know I'll have to call my in-laws, Lauren's parents, soon to apologize for missing Thanksgiving with them. They're good people, and I'm sorry they don't know what's coming. Update 2. More background and the day it all truly went to hell. Here's a little background. I check Lauren's browsing when I can, even though she hasn't used Reddit in 6 months. At this point, it's just habit, part of my white-knuckle, keep-it-together routine. Anyone who's kept their mouth shut until serving their cheating spouse, I have respect for. You know how hard it is. I got back from the Thanksgiving trip late Sunday after a 1,400-mile drive. Didn't want to see or talk to Lauren. Just went to my chair and passed out. First decent sleep in 2 months. I've lost 15 pounds. I look and feel like crap. Monday, Lauren tried to initiate sex. Couldn't do it. Physically, I'm fine. But my mind, heart, and body are finally in agreement. I want nothing to do with this woman. She got upset, accusing me of cheating, implying I'm not a good husband because I've been distant and cold for 2 months. No I love yous. Nothing. She tried to gaslight me as if I was the problem, when really I've just been uncovering truth after ugly truth. D-Day was September 24th. I work in collision repair, wreck vehicles, broken things. That day, I cut my leg bad on a truck at the shop. Needed 5 stitches inside, 34 outside. I was on heavy painkillers. No way I could drive. I called Lauren. No answer. Over and over. Calls, texts, nothing. After an hour and a half, I got an Uber home. As we turned onto our street, I saw her in the doorway, making out hard with Greg, 46 men, the general manager at her work. She was supposed to be working. I took photos with my phone, told the driver to keep driving, and headed back to the shop. I sat in the break room, heartbroken, for 4 hours. Later, I drove home alone, my leg and my heart both hurting. Lauren came home hours later, all concerned, making up some story about her day. I learned a week later She hadn't even worked a Friday in 3 years. I never used Reddit much until then, but looking for advice on cheaters, I found this sub and YouTube videos, reading about all the red flags, constant texting, never answering my messages. Yep, Lauren fit all of them. She didn't even realize, for 2 months straight, that she'd never read a single text or call from me that day in the ER. She yelled that I needed to be a better husband, so finally, I shoved my phone in her face to show her the ignored messages. She was shocked, then left the house for hours. Eventually, she apologized, but lied straight to my face about her busy day. The truth is, she was just screwing her boss in our home, too distracted to answer. Since then, I checked her devices, set up cameras throughout the house, and watched her cheat in real time for months. You want to know why Apple tech sucks? Because it all syncs together. Her texts, emails, photo backups, everything was right there. I learned she doesn't just dislike Nathan, she hates him, probably because she saw him as an obstacle. I discovered her affair's been going on for years, and not just with Greg. One of the men was Paul, 45M, a coworker I'd considered a friend for 14 years. His wife, Amber, 43F, Lauren's friend and coworker, helped her cover up the boss affair. Together with Lauren, she helped keep me in the dark. They even watched me propose to Lauren and attended my wedding while knowing everything. I know of 4 men, 2 familiar, 2 not, she slept with. All in my bed, my couch, my shower, my kitchen table. Random hookups in my home while I was away. There's a camera in every room. She didn't even bother to clean up between men. Every time I left town, to hunt, or travel for work, it was like an open house for affairs at my expense. For 2 months, I wore a mask of calm, only breaking down to Camille. Sometimes I almost confronted her, but bit my tongue, apologized for arguments, even pretended to worry about ED. Meanwhile, I'd read texts where she called me limp and plotted her next rendezvous. This is not the woman I married 7 years ago. I can't say she's just evil. Something's wrong with her. Probably sociopathy. It took so much for me to propose to Lauren because my first divorce left me a shell. 22 years old, left penniless, couch surfing, drinking myself to oblivion, with my life over before it began. All these years, I kept $43 in my wallet as a reminder of my lowest point. It's not the same misery now, but it feels close. Last time, with my first ex, I caught her old school, home early from a trip, walked in, nothing could be denied. This time, it's been slow, drawn-out deceit, endless lying. I feel like every blink gives her another chance to betray. There's 0 chance I'll work it out with Lauren. I'm checked out. Our anniversary, Pearl Harbor Day, will be a day she never forgets, but the wait is endless. Every day is a headache. All the therapy after my first divorce feels wasted. Update 3. Served her papers, exposed the affair, processed the fallout. Yesterday was the day. I woke up, grabbed breakfast while Lauren left for work. After she'd gone, I rented a truck, changed the locks, and with help from Camille and Jerome, loaded all Lauren's things, including all the furniture she defiled, into storage. Bagged her clothes, left them ready for pickup. Then I went to her work with flowers and chocolates. Gave her a big hug and kiss in front of her coworkers, everyone thinking it was sweet anniversary stuff. Told her I couldn't lunch with her, but wanted the night to be memorable. As I left, I saw her boss, now dubbed Greg the fucking Tool, GFT, gave him a big cheery wave. At 2 p.m., a deputy served Lauren at her work. At 2 p.m. sharp, I stood in front of GFT's house, sending him the incriminating photos from D-Day, plus a selfie of me on his front porch. His wife, Melanie, 41.5, answered the door. We'd met at work parties. She didn't believe me until I showed her the photos, including a selfie of them going at it on my couch. She slapped me, then broke down crying. I handed her a thumb drive with every scrap of evidence, told her to get checked for STDs, gave my lawyer's card, and left her sobbing. Why did I do it? Because she deserved to know. I feel like crap for the pain it caused, but would want the truth if I were in her shoes. Back home, I ignored Lauren's calls, changed my FB status to divorced, and read her frantic texts. Told her she could come by at 7 p.m., no sooner, to get her things. Around 4, Amber called. I answered. I wanted to know how long she knew about the Lauren GFT affair, and made her promise not to lie. She admitted she'd known since the beginning. I'd been the side piece all along. My whole marriage was a farce. She kept it secret out of friend loyalty. When I asked if she'd want to know if her own husband was cheating, she said yes. I sent her proof of Lauren with her husband. Then, I cut off all contact. Lauren showed up close to 7 p.m., found the locks changed, and after several failed attempts to get inside, tried breaking a window, then left. 2 deputies arrived, one a friend who'd helped move the stuff. Lauren showed up subdued, probably after a blow-up with Amber, gave her the storage key, my lawyer's card, and stressed that all contact would now be through attorneys. She tried all the "I love you, let's fix it, mistakes were made" lines. I just pointed at my lawyer's card. She declared it was her house too. I told her, "You literally screwed yourself out of it." Then she got nasty, the "I love yous" turning to "F yous" and "I hate yous," screaming until the deputies intervened. She got physical, punched me, bloodied my nose, tried to scratch my face. Deputies pulled her off. I declined to press charges. After that, the emotional walls I'd built just crashed down. I felt drained and raw. Friends and family, no contact with the mutual circle. Even Nathan, I postponed calling, not sure how he'd react. He never liked Lauren anyway. Update 4, divorce settlement, stinging revelations. Met with Lauren and her lawyer today. Didn't get everything I wanted, but got enough. Signed for an uncontested divorce, final in about 2 months. During the meeting, Lauren barely made eye contact. Her lawyer asked about reconciliation, even pretended to play along, but it was never an option. They offered full disclosure, but her account was incomplete. She left out 2 of the men I already knew about. My lawyer produced camera stills. She reluctantly admitted to more, including 2 online hookups and a years-long affair with GFT. She'd started hooking up with Paul, Amber's husband, at a barbecue in July 2019, literally in my house while I was there. When asked why she married me, Lauren said she wanted security, wanted marriage, and I was good in bed. But she'd loved Greg for 10 years, but he'd never leave his wife, so I was the meal ticket. She said she made herself happy, but also got what she wanted on the side. Both Lauren and Greg were fired, Amber facilitated it, and Lauren went to live with her parents. No clue what happened to Greg and Melanie. Melanie told me it's not my business. Final kick in the teeth. Lauren confessed to having an abortion 2 years ago because she wasn't sure who the father was. It may have been mine. We'd been having unprotected sex, and I'd wanted another kid, especially a daughter. I'll never know for sure. That was a final, gutting blow, numbed. I instructed my lawyer to drop the alimony claim so I could sign and be done faster. Not going to lie, the abortion haunts me. It feels like a bullet dodged, but it also feels like a part of me died. She signed that evening. 2 months, and it'll be official. I keep my house, my retirement, all my property. No alimony. She gets $73,000 from our savings, can never contact me, and we're finished. For now, I feel no happiness at all. Just exhausted, numb, unable to look forward. Maybe in time, I'll feel relief. For now, I just want to be left alone. Update 5. Moving on. Sort of. Finding new companionship. Weird question, but does anyone have tips for getting a wedding ring off? Been on my finger for 6 years, and nothing. Oil, butter, even WD-40 seems to help. I play guitar and want all 10 fingers intact. Divorce isn't finalized yet. The empty house has been hitting me hard. Ended up needing companionship. So I adopted a 1-year-old Chihuahua named Dulce. Thanks to whoever suggested the name. Tiny, sweet, just what I needed. When the divorce papers finally arrived, I didn't feel happy or sad, just numb. Some friends wanted to celebrate, but to me, divorce is nothing to celebrate, just a mark of failure. Lauren called me today. No apology, no real regret. Just asked, what good would that do now? Her parents were the only grandparents Nathan ever knew, and he wants to keep in touch. I'm okay with it, but unsure how to maintain contact with them without Lauren involved. They were more like family to Nathan than my relatives ever were. Dulce's kept me sane through Snowmageddon, 5 days of no power and below freezing temps. She was the best bed warmer. I think I'll take a break from this forum, maybe until dating feels possible again. For now, that voice in my head, the fear that anyone could break me, screams louder than ever. I'm learning to live with that. At least for now, I'm okay. Wishing the best to everyone out there. Stay strong. Update 6. Starting therapy, reconnecting family, moving forward. I started therapy in July, working through a whole lot. The fresh wounds plus old stuff. The biggest challenge is making amends with my sister, Marissa, 47F. She's all I have left. The first divorce cost me nearly all my family relationships. My parents and brother are gone, just her left. But we've barely spoken in decades. My therapist urges me to try. Cousin will help. I tell people to cut toxic friends, but this has been 30 years. Maybe it's time to drop the grudge and let Nathan meet some actual blood relatives. I'm not hung up on the exes anymore, but I'm still stuck on my past, especially that first marriage dictating so much of my life. I don't know or care what's become of Lauren or Amber or their various partners. They're fully purged from my circle. Update 7, 1 year later. 1 hour from now, it'll be exactly 1 year since I served Lauren the divorce papers. Today's actually been a good day. Woke up, went for a run, made Nathan breakfast, left for work feeling okay. At 10:30 a.m., office called me up. A batch of cookies had been delivered, apparently from Lauren. Same thing she did every anniversary. I told the office they could eat them. Our CSR asked who sent the cookies, so I told them. No one touched them. Honestly, I'm annoyed someone told her where I work now, but aside from that, I'm still in a decent mood. She has other ways to signal she's around, like being late on her car payments, so I get calls from finance. Just another way to stir the pot, I guess. Edit. Came home to a surprise party, barbecue and beers. My friends thought I'd need cheering up, but honestly, except for the cookies, it was a pretty good day. A perfect end to a year of hell. That brings this story to a close. This story shows just how deep betrayal can cut and how much effort it takes to process, rebuild, and move forward from something like this. It's a messy tangle of emotions, legal moves, and shattered trust. Nobody comes out unscathed. I've got a question for you. How would you handle discovering layers of betrayal from someone you trusted most? Would you confront them immediately or wait to gather evidence? Let me know your thoughts below.